Hello, we are live, and welcome to Black Crow Gaming's Meta Monday. Except it's not the Meta Monday because there's nothing really to talk about in the meta because it's been that holiday where a big fat man comes down your chimney, gives people a bunch of stuff. You get an excuse to put some toys out, plastic crack, have some whiskey or whatever your poison and a mince pie, and tell your kids that it's some random guy that comes down your fire.
I didn't know that we were mentioning Josh on this stream today.
It's a bit harsh. Josh is kind of like a Santa in training. He's not quite got the belly and he's got a ginger beard, but give it a little while.
Give him, if we force more of the whiskey down his throat, then maybe that'll do the trick.
I think he already drinks enough whiskey.
Well, yes. I don't know how we so quickly got onto the Josh bashing. Sorry, my fault. But yeah,
don't worry, guys.
What we're going to do today?
Our gracious team leader is not an alcoholic, but, and I quote, he does play Warhammer better drunk.
Who doesn't? I honestly believe that I play Warhammer better drunk as well. The one time that I played Warhammer drunk, I scored 100 and tabled my opponent in 3 turns.
Wow. What a flex. Anyway, moving on.
That was at a tournament as well, so...
Moving on swiftly. Tonight, you've got me, Aaron, I'm your host, and then my lovely co-host, we've got Toby. But we all know how we like to see Toby, and it's not like this. It is as our gracious leader, Elder Toby, here to give us the Bibles that we all need. And also tonight, I just want to highlight, look at this. Look at this team top. Isn't it just... awesome.
Yeah, our lovely new esports top. Which
we are finally joining the Vanguard tactics of the world. But we're better dressed. Sorry guys, you just got to accept it.
Aaron's hot take.
Hot take. Don't worry guys, I'll do my 90-degree flex soon. Anyway.
Actually, you say that, Ali, I did a post for the end of 2023, and Ali, who is one of our Devon Crows, it posted that he and I are going to have a flex off at the ITT. And unfortunately, knowing Ali, I'm going to lose that so hard, I think I give up lifting.
You're going to have a flex off?
I know. I think he's going to flex. I'm going to cry in the corner.
Toby, you sure that's not just code for a circle jerk?
I mean, Ali, if you're interested, message me. Yeah, no, it's already shaped up like it's going to be a fun time. I said to him, we'll do a 5K race instead because we do about the same 5K time. Ooh. So I think that would be interesting to see.
So we're going to move on from Fit the Warhammer here, Toby. Let's stay on topic. So tonight is a very special night. Tonight we are formally announcing our first channel sponsor, and there's no better way to announce and show it off than this. Watch this, guys. And where down we go, where down we go, say where down we go, oh, 'cause say we run you down to your car, oh, way down. And Toby, would you like to know who it is that was provided this and where do we get this from?
I was about to say, where on earth do I buy this lovely terrain from?
So, our new channel sponsor is, drumroll please, Terrain Forge. He has designed us a custom-made, GT-ready terrain set. Now, it's absolutely stunning. Our fellow crow, Simon Cox, he painted it for us and he's made it amazing. And that is going to be showed on our battle reports going forward. Incredible terrain. Me and Toby played on it at the weekend. Fantastic stuff to use. You're able to literally use every inch of the battlefield. Whereas before, like at tournaments, because of the way that the game has changed, terrain is a bit squished in. Whereas not with the Terrain Forge. So if you want to get yourself a nice set of this stuff, all you need to do is go into the link in our description and you'll be able to see that Terrain Forge there. Go onto the website, or you can find them on Facebook. Go on Facebook, drop him a message and tell him what you want. He is definitely up for doing custom TOs out there. He does very good TO deals. And anybody who is a Black Crow Gaming member or is interested in becoming a Black Crow Gaming involved in our team, drop us a message on our Discord, which you can find in our description. Let us know, and we can see if we can help you with our team discount. But absolutely stunning set of terrain. Very, very grateful for what they've done, and he is we're very proudly sponsored by him, and we're going to continue to shout him out all week, and we're going to be showing it off. Josh later in the week is going to do a full tournament review, so he's going to have all the scenery and we're going to talk about it. What did you think of it, Toby, when you were playing on it?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so I play quite shooty armies, and I always, when I see terrain that heavy, it always gets me a little bit worried because I don't tend to do close combat very much at all. But actually, there was some really good firing lines still. It was quite simple and easy to stage where I needed to develop those firing lines. And something that I was playing a lot of tanks, and obviously you were playing a lot of tanks as well, playing Chaos Knights. But something we didn't get to take advantage of was the potential for plunging fire from the top layers. There's those lovely little vents, which I think look very thematic, and the idea that you've got your guys sniping out of them, very cool. But picking up plunging fire on, say, a few devastators, poking out there with las cannons, top notch. I think that could be A, very game changing, but B, look really sick. So yeah, really excited to have them on board as a sponsor, and very excited to play on that terrain more, because you do get a heck of a lot out of it.
It's absolutely amazing quality, really easy to put together. Go check out his website. If you just want some parts, he also does battle mats. He does if you don't want a GT and you want a more narrative, he's got that as well. Awesome guy. Now, obviously, I'm playing with my Chaos Knights, and that's been great fun, but I was very sad after my game with you, Toby. I was very sad. So sad that you've now led me to join a certain emo group, and I look like the emo version of 5. Thanks for this, Toby. Toby decided to whack my head on, I don't know if you guys can see that at home, on a Raven Guard-esque AI generated. And it just goes very, very well. I was sad. I brought my knights, and Toby brought 5 tanks. Space Marine tanks.
Was it 5 tanks? Yeah, it was 5 tanks.
Yeah, 5 tanks.
It was Repulsor Executioner Double Lancer, which and I did play them in the Iron Hands detachment as well.
You know what would have been amazing for this right now, Toby? And I didn't put it on the Tanker Toby meme.
Oh, yeah, it would have been. Damn it! Ah.
But you know what? Why don't you tell them what list you brought, Toby, and I'll see what magic.
Sure. So I think the list. So basically, I wanted to try and test out some of the tier 2 units in the Space Marine Codex, because I've been playing a lot of Firestorm, really getting on well with it. But obviously, I don't want to get fatigued doing it. So I ended up trying out the Gladiators, which used to be a bit of a staple, but then got the points increase, Repulsor Executioner units that I've used before previously quite a lot. So I decided to have another crack with them. But then add in the Iron Hands detachment, usually focusing on sort of Mercy's weakness, and then targeting array, whatever, the one to give lethal hits for tanks. And yes, there we are. This is the Repulsor Executioner when it started doing 30 damage a turn, just with its main gun. That exploding hits and lethal hits, with Mercy's weakness on 5s, into the Oath target when you're re-rolling, and because you've given it the Tech Marine update, you upgrade, you're hitting in on 2s. It's
so I just
tasty.
I just want to get this across, guys. This is the first time I've ever played with my Chaos Knights. I put in 2 big knights. First time I've ever played. Yeah, I don't roll a single save against any of it. He blows it up. The first time he shoots, each one of those big knights kills it. One pops it. So not only are you a tanker, Toby, you're also going to get. You know what's coming. You are being fake hand-sammed.
Grudged.
This is what you get for being a massive tanker.
I mean, I'll be honest. I think the list that I brought wasn't very good overall. I was kind of disappointed with aspects of how it worked, but it was really good to get to test it out. And I do like that. I don't think I'd bring the other tanks, but Repulsor Executioner plus the Tech Marine with the upgrade, and then throwing in Mercy's weakness, that was pure filth. And I think I would like to test that a little bit more competitively if the Repulsor Executioner comes down in a few points in the next data slate. That's potentially something I'm going to look at, because that combination just does potentially delete 2 units a turn. So yeah, I was impressed with that.
Well, I wasn't. Prick. Anyway.
I'm sorry that your big knight's got 30 damage. I did roll quite hot on that Repulsor Executioner. I had a happy time.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Right, as you're in a happy space, let's bring that down a bit. So, anyway. So, we're going to go into... Me and Toby, we like to capture one another's... best moments, and people will remember, if you've tuned into some of our streams, they'll remember the pangolin Toby. Now, I invited Toby on that same day to come to the gym with me and do some training, and him and his pangolin self decided that he would be the real destroyer of Isstvan 3. Now, for those who don't know what Isstvan 3 is, it is the beginning of the Horus Heresy, when all shit went down on Isstvan 3, the planet, and apparently so did Toby. So, so here's Toby going literal ham, pangolin Toby, with Toby in his hands right there, blowing up Isstvan 3.
And the only thing, it only gets funnier when you realise the reason I had to put pangolin head on me was because the background remover deleted my head because it thought it wasn't actually in the photo. So
there we go. Isstvan 3, folks. This is how it went.
Yeah. Sorry, that's a virus bomb that I'm casually lobbing there.
Yes, it is. The poor Death Guard underneath there. No! Anyway.
Did we hurt them, Captain? Did we hurt them?
Oh, very entertaining. So, this is probably another bit that you're going to love, Toby. And over the Christmas period, folks, we had some reveals. Mm-hmm. And my God, did we have some reveals. And this particular... I don't know if anybody realises, but Toby loves Dark Angels. If you're just tuning in to us for the first time, if you go back and watch some more, Toby has a massive hard-on for Dark Angels. So when...
Specifically the Lion.
Yeah, specifically the Lion. He's digging it. Or Lion wants to dig into him. Anyway, when this box set dropped, my word, was Toby happy. There he is. There's Belial. There's his Terminator friend. And you know what? It's absolute stunning set. Stunning. So, in the rumour mill, in the build-up to this, Toby, and I think you can confirm, there had been whispers of stuff coming. But tell me, were you expecting this set?
I wasn't expecting this set. So we'd had the Knights and we'd had Asmodai, and the Asmodai model, also gorgeous. And then we had seen a very sort of Baroque-looking Stormbolter. So Belial was quite heavily hinted at. So we were sort of expecting Belial. But actually, so this box I wasn't hugely expecting. I love that it's a box, but it's actually the next photo that we're going to show that I'm most excited for, and that's because I've listened to Son of the Forest twice already, which is the photo of the Risen the new squad. It's the first time that we've seen them. They are absolutely gorgeous models, giant swords, and if you've read Son of the Forest, you'll know just how cool they are. Between there we go. Yeah, there they are with their fantastic giant swords. If it's Zabriel or Galad and Lanciel. Galad and Lanciel, I think, are my favourites. Lanciel, the Cenobite, is particularly badass with his giant Terminator plate.
Yeah. I hope they bring that in, because the Horus Heresy Dark Angel Terminators are quite possibly the nicest Terminator pattern armored miniatures out there. I mean, I love obviously the Alaris Custodians, but I don't think anything really comes close to just how awesome those models are. And if you haven't seen those models, go onto the games Warhammer website, have a look at those miniatures, because they're stunning. But these guys, when these dropped, my word, they're so cool.
They are. They're just stunning, and Dark Angels as an army. And if you've heard me talk about them, we've been screaming out for another powerful combat unit to kind of replace Blade Guard, because Blade Guard have really been struggling. So I would love this to be them. Can I just? They are just amazing.
Can we just go back to the box? I just want to highlight that box set. Value Town. Now, if you're sitting there thinking about starting a Dark Angels and you love the Deathwing, and the Deathwing are probably the coolest part about it, pick up 2 of these boxes and convert that Belial model into a Terminator Captain, because that box is
Strike Master.
Yeah, he is literally, that is value. But what also is really cool is like all the extra add-ons you can get as well. So there's sprues to make the Outriders into Ravenwing Outriders, your Intercessors into more Dark Angel-y, and Terminators into Deathwing, excuse me. And they look incredible. I mean, this was a great moment. If you're like a Dark Angel collector, or you're thinking about getting into Dark Angels, now is the time, because the miniatures they're dropping, they're incredible. The only problem with this, Toby, and I think you and I both agree, is going to be stock. Because Games Workshop stock issues at the minute are a bit of a... They're plaguing them a bit. I've never known it to be so bad. It just doesn't seem to ever get back to how it should be. What do you think about that at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, I've said for a while they need to sort of... and this is sort of melding a bit with my job, but they need to sort their supply chain and logistics out a bit. They need to hire a few more members of staff in that department, I think, just to support them, because if with the amount of new legal changes around importations and shipping, it's harder than going through the administratum to get a Titan. So I think they need to sort that out, because I think a lot of Dark Angels players are going to be wanting to buy 2 of them, myself included. They're going to need to be ready for a very quick sellout, I think, especially considering how quickly the scouts went from the new kill team. But that was actually a very well priced box.
I think this box you're going to be looking, I don't know, maybe 110, 120 pounds. And I think if you, from an independent retailer, you're probably going to get it for about £100. I'd buy 2. Just buy 2.
Oh yeah.
Just do it. Don't muck about. Don't just be like, I'll get 1 now and maybe 1 in a bit. Just order 2, because that will literally be all the Terminators you're going to need. 30 Terminators, plenty. Because if you're not including these guys, then what are you doing? I hope, Toby, I really hope the rules represent the coolness factor of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, so my hope is they're going to get a bit of plot armor, because obviously we've had Son of the Forest, and we've had the end of the Arcs of Omen, which heavily featured the Rhythm. And they were the Deus Ex Machina in Arcs of Omen, when it looked like Dante was about to die. Obviously, it's not really a spoiler because it wasn't really a book. Son of the Forest, you have to go read yourself. I'm not going to spoil that.
Don't.
But they are exquisite in that. I think it's one of my favourite books. Mike Brooks is a phenomenal writer. Love that he also does the orcs. But yeah, Son of the Forest, fantastic book. Zabriel, who you're introduced to very early, is just an unbelievable character. Really just sums up the Archangels for me. So yeah, it's very exciting time to be a Dark Angels player.
I completely agree, and I'm extremely excited. But I wasn't as excited about these as I'm excited about our next image. Now, everybody knows that I love my Custodes, and recently they dropped an image. Now I'm just going to have to get rid of a couple things so that I can get this on the screen. Just give me a tick. There we go. This is the great thing about doing this live, right, Toby? We can just muck about with it as and when we like. And here it is. 3 secret images. You're not meant to know, but we all totally know. So we're going to go through them as they appear. So left to right, because everybody knows I love Custodes. And now this, I can only assume, is a character miniature. He is a custodian. You can quite see he's got a guardian spear there, but the caveat is, and I've seen cleared up photos of this, is that is a melter spear. Now the melter spears are typically they're Forge World upgrade sprues. So to buy them now, you have to buy yourself a kit. You then have to go get the Forge World upgrade sprue, and then you pay 300 points for 5 melters, and they're only strength 9. They're not that great. I hope in the new book, when this drop and that gorgeous model comes to light, that they get the rule set that represents what that needs to be, because unfortunately Custodes in the terms of the meta are a bit down. Now a lot of people have kind of criticised actually some of the model, and I'm just going to make it a bit bigger so everyone can see. So they don't like the plume. They think it's a bit Votan-esque, and from an angle, I can say yeah, probably agree. But we are also looking at this photo as a shadow. You know, like we don't know exactly what this is. We can only assume that is a custodian, and we think it's going to be a character. Could be a new unit, because there are units in the lore of custodians where they carry shields and spears, very much like this is Sparta moment. And if they did that, I can tell you now, I would make it rain. However, we don't know. I'm very excited, Toby.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping it is a unit. I think it's about time that Custodes had another unit rather than a character. As cool as the Blade Champion is, don't get me wrong on that. They haven't had a unit in so long, and I just it's getting a bit on the disappointing side to just keep seeing characters rather than new units. So really hopeful for that.
I am also hoping that they're relatively soon. However, who knows? The next photo, I mean, come on, that is clearly a Sisters of Battle, right?
Yeah, that's actually a new sister model known as the Paragon War Orc. And yeah, oh my god! Now I've got this image of like an orc, but in like a really bad pigtail wig, pretending to be a Sister of Battle because someone has convinced him that he is a Sister of Battle.
So I'm gonna throw something out there, and orc players will either love this or they'll hate it. I think that's not a full body orc in there. I think that is a Gretchen in a mech suit.
I could see that. The only thing that would make me not think that's the case is I think he is using a shock attack gun.
But you're also the type of person that doesn't believe in Santa, so fuck you.
Okay. I don't. I can't come back from that. Just can't come back from that one.
There we go. I've won Christmas, folks. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on, and the last image, and something that's I think is going to be super cool. Looks like we're getting Kroot on riding some form of animal. Doesn't looks too slender to be a Krutox, like when they used to ride the Krutox models, and it's obviously too big to be a Kroot hound. I am very excited to hear that Tau are getting their auxiliary sorted out. The Vespid, one of the oldest models in the complete Games Workshop range. Don't get me wrong, Eldar still top that. They've got models that are Stone Age, but a whole new Kroot range. Hell yes.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, what they've also done with allies and things like that, because Kroot are mercenaries. I wonder if maybe they'll make them a little bit more universal. That is unlikely, but it would be really cool. And immediately, you could kind of redo those guys as Rough Riders. If you're playing Imperial Guard, you could probably put humans on them as Tau auxiliaries. Like the potential here for kit bashing, just cool new models, cool new lore. It's so exciting. And looking at the way that the guy's holding probably binoculars, I think it's going to be a really good new spotting unit. And considering Tetras are a must in competitive Tau, and when those Tetras, which are not very survivable, when they go down, it kind of feels like Tau fall apart. So to have another unit which looks like it's going to be cheap, quick, and efficient at spotting, I think that's going to put a bit more starch in Tau armies.
What you want here is basically Kroot doing spotting and riding, but with like sniper rifles, actually having a usable ballistic skill, and you want them to be able to still do some damage, but you also want that decent spotter unit. There'd be good throwaway chaff, quick chaff for Tau, because the problem with a Tau, like you said, they invest so much into those crisis suits, blobs, and they're not that difficult to get rid of, really. I mean, crisis suits, blobs, if they take the wrong gear, they can do the damage to themselves without you even needing to shoot them. I've played people who have lost like 2 crisis suits because is it the cyclic iron that they overcharge and then it does?
Yes, the IBs.
Yeah, I don't know why they do it to themselves. And the next thing,
it's still the best gun for them. CIB is still, CIB and Plasma are the best guns available to those crisis suits, so they have to do it. But then they come up against Custodes or a Redemptor Dreadnought, it just falls apart.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's very exciting. Like, I think the meta has gone. So the reason we're not talking about meta is because nothing's really happened. But also we did talk about it and we were like, it's a bit stale. The conversation is a bit stale at the minute. Ultimately, since this edition dropped, although there's been some shift of some of the top, the very much rooted towards the top has been Eldari. And we're not going to bash. This isn't what this stream's about. But we just know where they're at the minute. And I don't think it's I don't know. I don't think it's very interesting content at the minute to talk about. I know the tournaments are kicking off again soon. We've got our one of our locals, Peterborough Slam, coming up. But you got the Nottingham UKTC coming up, and I'm sure there's lots of others. I think Gothic Games have got one coming, and they're down in like the Kent way. So there's lots of tournaments are going to start picking up towards the end of January. So we'll see then, but we are expecting the data slate. Now, I know, Toby, you're going to a tournament pre-data slate, we assume. I personally decided that I wouldn't be attending any tournaments this January. I was going to take January off because I just was like, there's no point. Custodians are at the bottom of the fish. I'm struggling with them at an event because I can't deal with some of the dev wound output. So took January off. But it did mean that we could have a look at some of the reveals. So going forward, folks, me and Toby, we've decided that we're going to do our meta stuff kind of fortnightly. and we're going to talk about kind of like 2 weeks worth of like tournaments in one evening. We're going to kind of go through it a bit quicker, and then the other one we're gonna keep that more like hobby focused. We're going to look at some of the reveals that have come, because that's really fun. We enjoy that. Obviously, we're going to keep our comedy side, so like basically me and Toby just taking the piss out of each other for a bit, and then if we get a guest on, my word, they'll get it too. Which brings to the next point. You're probably going to see a lot more of like a regular guest on here, Dominic Maidlow. He's going to be joining us more in the new year. We've got Dave Liddell, who's going to be coming and joining us again in the new year. We're also going to do a segment of getting up some of our new captains, so chapter captains, we call them. And Toby, do you want to kind of explain a little bit like what we mean by that, just so like the folks at home understand when we say chapter captain, what we're getting at from like a Crow point of view?
Yeah, of course. So Black Crow gaming is kind of spread all over the UK at the moment, and the way that we try and organise ourselves is via region. Obviously we've got the original guys from Somerset who have their captaincy, and then we grew out towards Devon and Norwich. Now Norwich has split off towards Ipswich, Peterborough. Some of the other surrounding areas, now we're seeing more development in Reading, and we usually have someone who kind of takes the lead, does the recruitment side of things, does a bit of the organisation, and usually they have one or two people that kind of help them out with that support side of things, just so that we can keep everything running, make sure that everyone's having as much fun as possible, and that we're organised enough that if people do want to take things seriously when they go to the tournaments, they can. But if they just want to go around and just have a good time and just be like, cool, we're going to that pub at that time, they can do that as well. So it's just a little bit on the logistics side of things.
Yeah, so there's no real so what we expect from like these chapter captains, Black Crow game is free to join. There's no financial gain at all. There's no profit. There's nothing. It's all it is for us. Is that you are respectable at the tabletop. You have a good time, and then you help grow your community. So bring people in, like-minded, who want to learn, play 40k, or want to play 40k, or want to get better in a competitive scene. And we don't care, like, if you are never been to a tournament before, but you just decide you want to get into it, or you're just starting out in 40k. The captains are there to kind of bring people in, get them involved in their community, and kind of grow their network. But the best way to describe it is just their friendships. Grow friendships with like-minded people in similar sort of situations to everyone else, and allow them to go to events and enjoy a part of the hobby that has had quite a negative aura for a long time. But I think if you start going to tournaments, you realise it's actually some of the most fun you have, and it's made a million times better when you go as a big team. Now, that brings us on to our next topic. We've obviously talked about the ITT International Teams Tournament, abbreviating, in May. Before in a previous podcast, but we only had like 3 teams going, so 15 players. That's now grown. We've got 25 players attending that event, and who knows, that might grow even more. We have a new chapter coming up soon, and we are going to invite all of our chapter captains to come on. So next week we have got some of the Ipswich guys. They're going to be joining us. They're gonna love the abuse that we're gonna give them for a bit of the show, and we're gonna hopefully see some more reveals from Games Workshop Warhammer by then. So hopefully there should be some Dark Angel rules dropping, as the Codex I think will probably go for pre-order this month. What's the rumour mill telling you?
I think everyone's actually been quite quiet on the rumour mill, because on the roadmap, it was expected winter 2023. It is now 2024. So we're not 100% sure. It should be this month. I'm a little bit nervous that it might come out before Peterborough Slam, which is the tournament that I'll be attending this month. So that might mean I suddenly have to scramble and do something completely different. So if you see me painting at 3 a.m, mind your business. But hopefully it should be all okay. Fingers crossed. But then maybe the lion will be really good. So that'd be cool.
I don't think that I don't see it happening. Because it would have to go on pre-order next weekend, and then you wouldn't get it until the weekend of Peterborough Slam. So it's not going to happen. I think realistically, it will be a Games Workshop special. It will probably go up for pre-order, get released, get data slated.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if we cast our mind back to 9th edition Dark Angels, they immediately became obnoxiously good with the inner circle rule, and then there was that period where they got data slated again, and they became even more obnoxious. So that was a bad time, because everyone was playing the Deathwing list, which is a great fun list, really thematic, but it was not an enjoyable experience to play against it, because it was like, well, you're winning on 4s the whole time. I've got 2-up saves and 4-up saves for Isstvan. It wasn't a particularly pleasant play experience for your opponent. But luckily, that's changing now, by the way that they seem to handle those rules. And in terms of codex creep as well, just as a quick aside, that doesn't seem to have as much of a problem as it did in 9th edition. So really positive there. I know we bag on Games Workshop at times, but genuine positive shout out there for what they're doing. I'm really pleased with how it's looking.
Yeah, I got to admit, like, I think the only thing that I'd like to see is the codexes drop a bit quicker. But I think that's more because we're impatient, right? Like, we want to be able to we want to be on the same level as like the Tyranids and the Necrons and the Agmech and the Space Marines, who have all got this wonderful flexibility and can like really like get the grips with their book. And I just want that. I want to sit there. I want to go through it all. And I want to make off-meta lists, I want to make meta lists, I want to just kind of enjoy all of that. And that is what I'm really missing, that list building bit, because there are units I can take with Custodes, but they'll just be flat bad and they won't do anything in the game. So I'm kind of pigeonholed into taking, what I take. So it's, difficult.
Yeah, it's that time of year where the format has kind of been solved. I mean, if World Eaters are a really good example of this. If someone says, "Okay, I'm thinking of playing World Eaters competitively," then 90% of the time you just need to go, "Okay, here's Vanilla's." I think it's Vanilla, or Vanel, one of the two. Apologies if I've got that name wrong. Here's his list. Use that, because it's the de facto best list. Eldari. There is basically a de facto best list, and players are getting bored of playing that as well as coming up against that. So we do need that data slate, and I think the fact that we've had the festive period now is actually maybe a good thing for Warhammer, because I think fatigue will be less of an issue. And now when we get that data slate towards the end of this month, I think that's going to be a real positive change for Warhammer. Not that it needs to be a huge change, just a bit of internal balance across the books. A couple of changes, maybe to indirect, maybe to how devastating wounds and mortal wound protection interacts. And then I think we're kind of golden. I'm really positive about how things are looking.
Just got to wait and see now, isn't it? It's just a waiting game. No, we're all impatient nerds, and we just want to be able to do some fun stuff. But it's all coming. We've got to be patient. We'll get it, and it's just gonna be great. The hobby is shaping up to be hopefully one of the best editions, if they could, because they're giving themselves the opportunity to fix things. Now, people who join this hobby in 9th and 10th have only known them doing data slates, and have only known them doing this. But I've been playing this hobby a long time, and you used to just have to deal with the bullshit for a long time before you got any form of balance. And now we're in a life where waiting 6 months is too long. Waiting 3 months is too long. Waiting 2 weeks, too long. But I have faith. I believe that Games Workshop will hopefully fix it and if they do, fantastic. If they don't, it is what it is. But we'll wait and see. What I was going to ask, I'm going to see if people want to see. Do you think we should show them the Terrain Forge video one more time, Toby?
Yeah, go on.
Go on. For those that missed it. Here it is.
And where down we go.
Do you want to talk people through the different pieces they get?
Say where down we go. Oh, 'cause say we run you down to your car, oh way down.
So as you can see in that set, you get 4 large L's, 4 medium L's, 4 small L's. None of those bits of scenery feel small at all. The 4 large L's are giant. You can comfortably hide anything behind it, pretty much. Other than your Warlord Titans and all that sort of crap, because that's just mental. But you can comfortably hide everything behind it. And I absolutely heartily suggest that you get it. This guy, he's a new startup, and it's probably the best terrain I've seen out there that isn't the plastic Warhammer terrain that costs you an arm and a leg. I've been on Glasshammer terrain, I've been on UKTC terrain, and I've been obviously EAGT terrain, and then I've obviously been on the really nice thematic terrains and so on. But this for tournament use is perfect. Flat perfect. You can make it literally. You can literally make the best maps. It's just big enough that you need, because the way the game is now, you still want firing lanes, but you want to be able so that you can move from one piece of terrain to another. You want to make it so that units actually have to move to be interacted with, and it is very good. I did then play after you, Toby. I played obviously Grey Knights, which would have been a combat army, and absolutely fine. Like, they were able to stage, but it wasn't like an over dominating affair. I don't know how that would be against World Eaters, but Grey Knights, they have like a similar sort of stick. They want to be in your face. They move. They auto advance 6. So we'll see how that goes. But we used all of our terrain possible in that game. I think you could get away with removing a couple bits, depending on what sort of game you wanted, if you really wanted to. But again, that's Terrain Forge. You can find them in our description and give them a whirl. What do you reckon, Toby? I think we're pretty much done for this evening, right?
Yeah, I think we've covered everything, all the exciting stuff. I guess if there's any questions or comments in chat that are particularly interesting, we could have a quick look at that. But
no questions tonight. I think everybody was trying to talk about the Dark Angel box looking good. They have commented on the stock levels and things like that. Matty DeWow, he's going to his first tournament up in Newcastle. Very excited for him.
Best of luck.
I've asked him to let us know how he gets on, and obviously, folks, that's us. I'm Aaron, and we've been joined by Toby tonight. If you like what you see, if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, share, do all those magical things. Hit the bell so you're notified every time that we put up a video or go live. This helps us massively to grow as a channel. What we're about is just growing a community where you can go to a tournament and you're going to be there with some fellow Black Crows, and all of a sudden those tournaments don't become so intimidating. Those events don't become so intimidating. They become actually the thing that you look forward to the most. Isn't about playing those games. It's about hanging out with all of the Black Crow gaming lot, and we know how to have fun at a tournament. If you like what you see, in the description below we have our Discord. Please, it's free to join. Come join us in Discord. Come have a chat with us. Find us on Facebook. And if you're interested in becoming a Black Crow gaming member, get to know us. Talk to us in Discord, and we'll go from there. You can also get a hold of some of our merchandise. We've got dice. We've got t-shirts. We've got
Hats.
Hats. Tote bags, people. We have tote bags, and we have these amazing, this side, e-tops. But again, that's us. It's been great. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year. And we will see you next week with our Ipswich chapter. See you guys later.
Happy New Year. Thanks for joining in.
Bye.